I noticed that when I would put my leg over to the side in bed, that it would hurt. And I noticed that when I would go out walking, that this leg, it kind of seemed shorter than this one. And then we did the hip surgery. And gee, I came through that really good. And then in July, I had the other one done. But then the knees. And if it isn't one thing, it's another. Dr. Urban, I'm sorry I have to say this, but you know, sometimes you're just in love with your doctor. I just have such great respect for him, too. I mean, he makes you feel so good, and, you know, you can ask him anything. I'm just blessed that I have him for a doctor. I had wonderful, wonderful care here, and the nurses were wonderful. Everybody, though, has been really good, and I think the food is good, too. And I have to tell you something funny. When I had my hips done, Joe, the nurses were so good to him. He stayed overnight with me every night. They'd make his bed for him. They pampered him, and he'd always go down in the morning and eat breakfast here. Then he'd go home and check the mail and this stuff. Then he'd come out and then he'd have dinner with me, and they'd make his bed and he'd stay all night. They were really spoiled him. And then he said to one of my friends, he says, you know what? We'll go out for breakfast, and we'll go out there and we'll have breakfast out there. They have great breakfast. And I can remember when I was having, it was like in June before I had my other one done in July. I was here to see a doctor, and all of a sudden I heard him, somebody say, Cathie, Cathie. I went out and says, Joe, is Dr. Urban calling me? And he said, yeah. He says, come here. I want you to talk to this patient and tell her, you know, about your surgery. And I said, oh, I said, it was so good, and I can't wait to get this other one done.